The internet is shrouded in mysteries. There are few platforms that harness the spirit of the early days of web browsing, when the anonymity created a dark curiosity and the scariest corners of the web could be just clicks away. Reddit is a worldwide message board where anonymous users can post and talk about pretty much anything you can think of. From cooking recipes, dark confessions, information on financial literacy, Reddit contains everything in between. My interest has gravitated towards subreddits like RBI and Tip of My Tongue, where mysteries are posted, big, small, or personal, harmless or sinister. These subreddits are dedicated to finding an answer. Reddit is truly a melting pot for the obscure pockets of life. Lifelong mysteries have been solved thanks to these subreddits, like this man who finally got closure about a murder he witnessed in New Orleans as a child. He spent his whole life looking for answers, posted it on RBI's subreddit, and someone managed to find information on that murder in one day. This user found the name of an obscure song that his dying grandmother kept humming to herself, but she couldn't remember the name of it. Reddit has found missing people that even the FBI struggle to find. It truly is amazing. And with that, here are some disturbing posts to think about. The original post has since been deleted. It was originally posted on r/relationship advice by username smallbean197. Of course, I've managed to find an archived version of this thread. I, 22-year-old female, have been with my partner, 24-year-old male, for 4 years now. I have never known him to do anything like this, but I noticed he started acting a little strange around a month, maybe a month and a half ago. He started putting fruit on the floor in the garden, and I thought it was a bit weird, but he said he was feeding the mice family that have nested in our shed, so I thought it was sweet and helped him do so. God, have you noticed that there's like a lot more mice around here lately? Like I saw like 5 of them yesterday. Oh, you mean the free pets we got? Yeah, I remember we were walking at PetSmart and he said that one hamster was cute. And I was just thinking like, we have like a whole family of them under our shed. I mean, it's the same thing. I hate to be like, we have McDonald's at home, but like, just look at them. They're so cute. Like, why spend $34 on a hamster when, that we have 10 of them right here and they're free, Anyways, he started being really nice to me around 2 weeks ago and was making me food, baking me cakes and stuff, which he never usually cooks ever, so I was happy he found a hobby. I did notice sometimes I felt sick and dizzy after eating, and I just put it down to lack of sleep/hormones. Anyways, a friend of my partner's came into my work today, I work in a cafe, and said he needed to speak to me when I was free. I was free as there wasn't any customers at this time. He told me that my partner has been collecting slugs from the garden on fruit he has been putting out there and putting them in my food. I feel really sick to my stomach. I don't understand why he would do this. This is so out of character of him. I asked him why he was doing it, and he accused me of snooping through his messages, which I would never do, and got so angry at me for not being able to take a joke. I feel disgusting. I love him to pieces, but I just don't understand his way of thinking just now. Am I overreacting? I don't know what to do. I feel lost. Obviously, this is a disturbing post. Some met it with skepticism, but those who took it seriously were quick to point out the grim reality, which is that eating slugs is really, really dangerous. Username Tana Lake provided a link to an article detailing the horrific events that occurred to 19-year-old Sam Ballard when he ate a slug on a dare, became paralyzed, and 8 years later, died. The main cause being angiostrongyliasis, also known as rat lungworm. It's a parasitic disease that affects the brain and spinal cord when worm larva travels to the brain and stays there. This immediately gets OP's attention, as she states, "This is scary. My dog recently has lungworm." OP immediately heads to the doctor. Soon after, she provides updates. "Everyone, I have just found a jar under the sink with about 4 slugs in. I didn't touch it with my hands for DNA evidence if it gets taken that far. I have taken a photo and posted on my profile. I didn't know how to post here." This is the photo that OP provided. Soon after, we received this update. I have left him and gone to stay with a friend. I have put the jar of slugs in a plastic baggie to hope to somehow use as evidence. His friend is conflicted on whether or not to show the police the conversations he has had with them. But my friend said that the police will be able to see the messages on my ex's phone anyways. OP did mention that she did seek out medical treatment. Even though we don't get details of the medical treatment or if her ex got in legal trouble for what he did, we do get a final update. I am alive. Hello everyone. Sorry for those who I didn't get to message back. My messages have been so full. I am alive, but I have been sick with coronavirus. Oh, so happy ending. Thank you to those who reach out to me. You all made me feel less alone. Hope everyone is well. This disturbing story was posted by Pagan Princess 22 in the RBI subreddit. A woman posing as a nurse stole my blood from an Indiana, USA emergency room in 1996 through 1997 when I was 5 or 6 years old. Hello everyone. I'm not sure if this is the correct place, so please feel free to direct me to a better subreddit if there is one. I flared it as a cold case because it happened 23 years ago, but there were never charges filed to my recollection and I don't remember a case being made from it. This is a strange story, and I was 5, maybe 6 when it happened, so I don't have a lot of the details. I had recently told my younger sister about this story and she encouraged me to look into the incident more and see if I can find out either who this person was or if there was a larger pattern of behavior during the time frame. I'm interested in any information you all have to offer / can find on the matter, as I truly just want to satisfy some curiosity. I'm 99% sure any statute of limitations is up, and I'm not interested in reporting something so weird from so long ago to the police for them to tell me there's nothing that could be done. Now, on to the story. When I was around 5 or 6, I got a pretty bad nosebleed that wouldn't stop. I eventually started throwing up big clots of blood as well, and my mother took me to the ER. This would be in / around the Sunman or Indianapolis area of Indiana, USA, but I do not know the name of the hospital. At the time, beds were separated only by curtains on ceiling tracks and not individual walled rooms. My mother had left my room to speak to a doctor. I think I know she left, and a woman I did not know came in shortly after she left. She was white and had medium brown hair and looked to be in her 20s or 30s. She was wearing a blue scrub shirt with puppy dogs on it and unmatched pants. I want to say she was not wearing scrub pants, but rather jeans or maybe sweatpants. I know they did not match her shirt, which stood out to me. The other nurses and doctors I saw only wore solid colored scrubs and were all matched. She said she needed to take some blood and pull the tools to do so from her scrub's pocket, not a phlebotomy cart. She stuck me and started drawing blood, somewhere around 5 to 7 vials of it, but potentially more. On the last vial, we heard my mom and a doctor coming back towards the room. She hurriedly ripped a tube from my arm before the last vial was full. It spilled some blood. She did not give me a band-aid or gauze. She just left me bleeding and shoved everything back into her pocket, then ran from the room. She ran to the left, and my mom and doctor entered from the right. The doctor said a nurse would be with me soon to draw some blood and run some tests. I told him a lady had already taken my blood, and he asked what she looked like and where she went. I described her. He turned wide-eyed to my mother and said, "She doesn't work here," and ran out of the room to the left. I heard some loud voices. There was a lot of commotion, but I don't remember anything past that point other than just feeling dizzy and now scared that some strange woman had my blood. I've never been able to find out what the hell happened, who this woman was, and if she was ever caught. If this type of thing was happening across the country at the time, I have no idea. Let me know if there's any other information I could provide that might make it easier to find out what happened to my blood. Edited a typo, and to add, my mother is not a great source of information when it comes to my early life or her life or anything really. as she has some of her own issues. Several years ago, when I was a teenager, confirmed the details I remembered, then refused to talk further about it and asked me not to bring it up again. She claims she does not remember the name of the hospital, the name of the doctor, or other details I was asking for at the time. Couple of things. We don't know the name of the hospital where these events took place in. A couple of potential hospitals based upon surrounding areas include Margaret Mary Health Center of Brookville, Decatur County Memorial Hospital, Riley Hospital for Children, and what would have been named Wishart Hospital at the time of OP's visit, now renamed Eskenazi Hospital. OP makes it clear that she's not after litigious consequences. She knows the statute of limitations will likely work against her case. She does not remember the name of the doctor, and when Redditors try to connect potential fraudulent nurses to this event, she confirms that she wouldn't be able to recognize the nurse's face. When Redditors asked her why she doesn't just ask her parents for her childhood medical records, she states that both of her parents refused to give her the document. OP states, since I moved around so much and my dad, I moved in with him across the country about a year after this, was pretty big on medical neglect. He would take us to different doctors if they suggested I might need more care than one appointment a year. That's really hard to nail down. He also refuses to give me any of my medical information from the time I lived with him. This secretive behavior from her parents led Redditors to think that her parents may be hiding the fact that she's adopted. OP does shut this idea down by saying, I don't believe so. No, I've seen my original birth certificate. It lists my known parents as my birth parents. I also look very similar to my mom and sister. Some users did bring up the fact that amended birth certificates look exactly the same as original birth certificates, and so adoption isn't totally ruled out. In the original post, OP says her mom did confirm the details of this story to be true, but didn't want to speak further on the matter. This, in my opinion, rules out the other theory that OP might just be experiencing a false memory. Secretive behavior aside, these events are still disturbing. The doctor's reaction of "she doesn't work here" doesn't seem to fit the other theories that she was potentially a nurse from another unit who accidentally drew blood from the wrong patient. OP does provide some additional details. I feel she probably was waiting for my mom to leave, because it was seconds after she left that the nurse came in. We had been there a long time and it was a busy night, so I bet she figured my mom would go looking for a doctor eventually, and well, she did. This timing seems planned, targeted. One user asked, is it possible that there was a dispute over child support and wanted proof you were his? At this point, it's hard to tell what is possible, but the fact that she was there for a random nosebleed leads me to believe her visit was too random for it to be some planned blood hijacking organized by her father. The fact that the nurse came in seconds after her mom left, and she was gone as soon as the doctor and mom were heading back to the room, is enough to hint towards the fact that this was no accident. The nurse targeted this moment, and based upon the doctor's reaction, he seemed to know exactly who the nurse was, as if he's dealt with that same behavior from that nurse in the past. Mismatched scrubs does sound like someone wanting to pass as a nurse, and the fact that she pulls out the tools from her pockets is also sketchy. Users mention that drawing blood isn't exactly easy, and that whoever this nurse was had to have had some sort of training. A lot of users, like myself, think that it sounds like a mentally unstable ex-employee, which would explain the doctor's knowledge of her, security in the hospital potentially letting her in, and the nurse's insight as to where patients might be left alone. We might never know. One thing I do know is that her mother definitely knows the truth, but unless she has a sudden change of heart, this case will remain cold.